Alright. Whoa. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Damn thing's not gonna want to stay. Okay. Have to be extra careful. Oh, okay. So I'm getting on here. And I'm not going to go on TikTok and do this, but I want to do this on YouTube because I want to explain something. This is the way I feel. This is the way, um, so, as a witch, um, I have lived many past lives. And in each past life, I have been a witch. So to come on TikTok and explain yourself that if you are not of that culture, you cannot be of that belief system or um, that thing. And oh my gosh, I was like, okay, here's the thing. I have heard this so many times, and it's pissed me off because for a true witch, you just don't stick with one. How do you know? Okay, if you have lived many lives, you know, one century you might have been an Egyptian, the next you might have been, Gaelic. Um, the list goes on. So, how are you going to tell somebody that has had multiple lives lived that they cannot do those practices because they're not of that culture? Well, um, I disagree with that. Completely disagree with that. Because I just I just feel like you are limiting the people. You might have, this might be your first actual thing, you know. And yes, yours might have been passed down from generation to generation. But then there are the ones that are older than you, who have lived in many lives. And they're not going to let some little um, generation witch, whatever you call it, tell them when they know that there was a witch in the Egyptian times, there was a witch in the Gaelic times, there was a witch, throughout many centuries, that they cannot still practice their cultures that they were, each life was lived in. And it pisses me off. And it's like the gypsy witch traditions too. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. How can you say this craft is um, closed practice only for your culture and whatnot? Um, I mean, really, I don't believe in it. I believe because you're limiting the young witches nowadays to just one thing, and how are they to grow? Um, because no one will teach them their path or their magic because it's a taboo and it's wrong and it goes against freaking tradition. Okay, go against fucking tradition, break the tradition bullshit. This is ridiculous. um there's so many younger generations out there that are not having the full practice and they're just sticking with Wicca. And Wicca is not even really a witch-based thing. Anybody can be a Wiccan. Um, just like anybody can be a witch or practice magic and not be a witch. But I really feel strongly that um, and it's sad that there's people are still doing this, because this is just, it's sad. It's sad to me. Why? I mean, the craft is not, it's supposed to be about knowledge. It's supposed to be about growing. How can you're limiting these new witches, um, these beginners, these novices, to just one thing, because you don't want them in your culture or your traditions, or your elders don't want them to learn it. Well, how do you know that they might not have been one of your ancestors? You know? As witches, we are reincarnate many times. Hell is the one that came out. Oh my gosh. It has been quite a day yesterday. I was everywhere yesterday getting food and whatnot. And now we got food, but I gotta get food for the meatloaf for Sunday. Hidden. I love it. I embrace the mysteries in my life. Hel is the Norse goddess of the underworld, who is commonly seen as a crone goddess. Her name translates to mean hidden. Her appearance is black and white half of her body exposed with bone. Oh. Oh. Hel presides over the realm of the dead, which is also her namesake. While her name means hidden, it's impossible to hide anything from Hel. She is impartial and sees the truth. She gives no fucks about excuses and suffers no fools. Hel considers the underworld to be her home and is happy to stay hidden. Not everything should be visible. Hel has come into your life today to remind you to keep your cards close to your chest. You may need to be more private with your affairs or careful with who you reveal yourself to. Not everything needs to be displayed on social media, and not everybody needs to know your business. You can enjoy life without everyone needing to know it. This can be especially important if you have an idea you're percolating. While it is exciting to talk about it, you put it at risk by sharing it. People's criticism can take the wind out of your sails, and not everyone is above board. They may steal it for themselves, or you may spend more time talking about it than getting it done. Tap into your intuition to see whether someone is trustworthy before revealing personal information. Add some shadow work in your spiritual practice. Keep your word and promises, even the small things, every day. Wow. But it was talking about closed practices. And that's why I was laughing. So spirits just wanted to The rebel now. Okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay. Where's hell? This is one. They're wanting to give a message. So, let me get hell back out. She was our first card. I'm just shuffling the cards and see the cards are popping up. Makes me wonder who else is going to show up in this reading that we are having. There you are. Okay, so we got Hell and the Rebel. Alright. I understand that there is a message for everyone. See here. I'm gonna laugh if Akata keeps coming. She keeps popping up in readings that I do, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Especially last month. I mean, she was constantly coming up in a reading. I'm like, I wonder why. I would figure that I would get like Santa Martha or Morgan, which is one of the deities associated with Samhain. I have a feeling. Alright, what is the last card? Who wants to show up? And it's Iris. That's another one that keeps popping up. Okay, so we know hell is about hidden and keeping things, your personal life closed. Don't share everything on social media. And that others can like take the sail out of your wind, or the wind out of yourself. So we know that. And then we have the rebel. And of course, you know, you can guess what the rebel stands for. I mean, going against the grain, doing things your own way, stuff like that. Kind of being the outlaw. The rebel. Resist. Yep. Going against the grain. I knew it. Unicorns, infinity symbols. I resist and I persist. Our rebel refuses to let society decide on what she does with her body and what is beautiful. She has worked on loving herself and by not hiding or changing. She is being rebellious and says, fuck off to the judgment of oppression of the status quo. She is not afraid to be unique and accept the soft and hard elements that exist within her. The rebel realizes that by standing proud, small-minded people will try to put her down and shame her. But she doesn't take on that shame. She is beautiful. She is a beautiful unicorn, and she will not be forced to comply or change to make someone else feel more comfortable. What is happening in your life right now that doesn't feel right? Are you conforming to social norms that are hurting yourself or others? There are things and people who are worth fighting for and demanding change. Resisting is often a test of character and bravery. When we resist what is wrong with the status quo, we claim our power. We also let others know they are not alone in their struggles. If you let outside influences change or tempt you into what you know is wrong, you will regret it later. It's time to resist. That might mean getting out and marching for change. Saying no to the person who is trying to seduce you to stray from your relationship or the cravings you're having that are sabotaging your success. Work with the rebel. Work for positive change in your community. Don't just do it for Instagram. Be an ally to others when they are trying to resist peer pressure or temptation. Research and read about great leaders of the resistance. Princess Leia counts. All right. So we have Iris. Our rainbow goddess. This one's all about communication and speaking truth. Yep. So to speak up. Time to let your voice ring. You wield more power than you think. Your words can be life-changing. Be conscious of what you are saying to people and yourself as they create the reality around you. If you have been waiting for a sign to let your voice ring out, this is it. It is time to speak up and say what is really on your mind and in your heart. Allow yourself to be heard and know that what you have to say has value. So, yep. Going against the norm, resisting things. Ooh, except for fur babies. And you're just too sweet. Standing up for what you know is right. Oh, my leg. And I wasn't even expecting a reading tonight. I was just shuffling. Oh. So, but obviously, the ancestors and the deities needed to say something. And I guess it was because of what I was speaking about. And it was funny because the rebel is like going against the norm, you know, doing what you feel is right. And, you know, to me, what I feel is right is letting the younger witches know that they don't have to be stuck to one thing. Because when I was starting in my my craft, I could not find a teacher or a mentor because it was going against their traditions. And so I did find one. It was years ago, though, and it was when I was with my daughter's biological father. You know, I was in my 30s then. And I loved, and I still love her to this day. You know, but that was just one aspect. The other I had to learn on my own, like and I felt like Wicca was just, it was too fluffy for me. I was not into the fluff of it, you know. I was into the balance of it. You know, I felt like there was too many. It lacked consistency. It lacked, because it was all about light and everything, and there was no balance. And I was like, no, no. I know that there is darkness in everything. I know that there is. You can't have one without the other, and this takes out the whole dark side of things. And so I went into looking about other things, and I added like spirit keeping. I added just my own kind of stuff. And like most of the spells that I do are not from books. They just come to my mind, and then like I'll do them, and I can't write them down because like right after I do them, they're gone. And like the house cleansings, stuff like that. It was just something was missing. I was like, what is missing? I mean, there has to be more to the craft than this shit, because this is just. And then I got into spirit keeping, and I mixed up the light, and I learned that the dark doesn't necessarily mean evil. There is no evil in the craft. And let me explain this to you, because if you seriously, let's go on the approach of Christianity. Alright, so growing up a Christian, a staunch Christian, we are taught to fear demons and the fallen angels. And who everyone said that Satan was Lucifer, and Lucifer was maybe a fallen angel. Okay, so Lucifer is not a fallen angel. That is wrong. Nor is Hern or Cernonius the devil. These all are all deities that deal with something. Okay, so Hern and Cernonius are deities of nature. They're the raw nature. The untamed, wild nature. So you have that. Okay, so, and they think because Cernonius and Hern have the antlers, that he represents the devil. But in the craft, there is no devil. The only one that might come close to it is Lucifer, and Lucifer was in it. He was his name actually means light bringer. And he was associated in the consort of Lilith. So, now, let's go into deeper into Christianity. We are feared to, we are brought up and programmed to think that the darker side of Christianity, that these demons, these diabolicals, whatever you call it, want to condemn people. They want to possess people. Okay, so how many true possessions have anybody has ever seen of a demon? I honestly believe that they might have been possessed, but it has not been by a demon. Demons and fallen angels, they don't have time for that. It's all about the balance of things, you know, the yin and yang and dark and light. And what you consider what is dark does not necessarily mean evil. What is light does not necessarily mean good. You know, so yeah. Oh, damn it. They put Akate. Alright, Akate, what is you trying to say? This one is about in between stages. I have had see, I hate this thing. Wish I had my come on. There we go. Hopefully, yes. Akate. I knew she was going to come out because she's been wanting to come out. Ugh. Oh, crazy. If she keeps coming out, I feel she's like one of my deities. I really, really, really do. Which wouldn't surprise me because I do have one of her dogs. Like all of my beings, they do their own thing. They really don't. I mean, they really don't even bother me or Morgana, you know. Or even my cat. My cat don't even, you know, react to them. So. Yeah, but she has seriously been coming up. And oh my gosh, Ethne Dawn has a new deck out. And I want it so bad. Like, yesterday, want it. If I had the money right now, the extra money, I would grab it. I would grab it. I sure would. I told her, I said, oh my gosh, you outdo yourself every time. But this one, the pictorials of the cards, is how she betrays some of them. Like the lovers has a dove and a snake. Who would think of the contrast and the duality of a snake and a dove? The dove being peace, the snake being, you know, I mean, wow. Just her mind is, I would love to pick at her mind. To just sit down really with her and just talk for a good 6 hours. Just pick at her mind because she is brilliant. Just brilliant. Like, I have this deck, the Bad Bitches Tarot, and the Tarot Companion, or whatever you call it, the black one, that I have. I want, now let me tell you, this deck is exquisite. It has like a burnt orange mandala, like this is silver, and they're a little bit bigger than these cards, and a black matte, beautiful black and the burnt orange on the inlay. And I'm like, I was so floored. And I told her, I said, you asked which card am I drawn to and I like the most. And I told her, I said, I would have to go with the Lovers. I said, the Lovers has to be one of my favorite pictures that you drew, because I have not, and all of the tarot decks that I have ever had in my past and now, I have not ever seen it portrayed like that in any way. It never. It's always, you know, a man and a woman with an angel. Or something similar, or, you know, or not even have that. And you took it to a whole new level. I mean, she did. Who would have thought of having a snake and a dove? You know, two polar opposites. Because if you think about it, in Christianity, the snake was the devil. The dove was sent, would always be sent in the Abrahamic times, when Abraham was out in the water to go look for an olive branch. And so the dove represents peace and hope and new beginnings. And then you have the snake that represents, you know, the duality of dark and masculine and all that. And I'm like, I was floored. I was like, oh my gosh, I want this deck so bad. But I just do not have the money for it. I will have the money. If I have to put back 10 every month for this deck, I don't care if it takes me a year to get it, I will get that deck. But I think it'll take me maybe, it depends on how much the deck is, a couple of months. So, and I think I'll also get her other tarot deck, which is like binary, kind of has a binary feel to it. Like, it's not based on the feminine and masculine. It's more feminine.